one. And we're live, back with another match reaction. The boys win again. Amore might be going for the Scudetto. Milan grab a big, convincing, maybe not as convincing as we were hoping, or at least I was hoping. Curious to get your opinion. Win 2-0 at home, first home game against Venezia. If you're watching this, before we get into it, please subscribe, drop a like, comment. We always do this live reactions after the game, as well as the longer form podcast a few days from now. Ozzy, first of all, welcome back. What did you think?
Thank
Another
you.
3 points. We go top of the table, at least for one night. What did you make of this win?
Yeah, yeah. 3 points again. We're up to six. I think this was our first win at San Siro since March. I thought I read that it's our first 3 points at the San Siro since March. I think it was 3-2 against Torino. Um, was it a convincing win? Look, it's still early days. I think Amorim is trying to figure out, who he's allowed to keep still, even though they're on the transfer block. Leao is looks to be official, even though he was at San Siro tonight, not on the bench though. We didn't see Moreira at least up until the 92nd minute. That's when I switched over to this. Not a massively convincing win, but it uh, could have been a higher scoreline with those two big Ramos chances and Musa hitting the woodwork.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, not fantastic. I don't think that's going to hold up against better opposition or a better attacking opposition than Venezia and Torino. But wins a win in the end of the day. It's still 2-0 on the scoreline. Some forgettable performances, but also some very good ones, I thought.
Agreed. Pretty much on all counts. I think we saw Venezia attack more than Torino did. So we had a lot of those questions on the podcast. How will it look like on Chukwueze's side? How will it look like on Musa and so on? And they definitely had some big chances. Not that Torino didn't, especially towards the later part of the game. But look, they could have put away. They could have put away a few. Chukwueze, I thought honestly did well. There was in that first half that sort of breakaway where he's almost 1-on-1. I forgot the Venezia player, but Chukwueze tracks back well. And look, he's never gonna be a defensive stud by any means.
Yeah.
But if he's putting the effort to track back and do those defensive diagonal runs, that's all you can ask. But that being said, I agree with you. Shaky in the back. I don't know. I'm sort of split. We were just talking about it right before we went live. It didn't seem like Amorim had a plan B. It was more of trying more of the same. You take out Cisse and you put in Salemakers, same style of player. You take out Ruben Loftus-Cheek, you bring in Rabiot, same style of player. That being said, he's not proven wrong. Obviously, we win. Arguably, you can say, look, if Ramos doesn't take 4 chances but takes 1 or 2 chances, we're already winning in the first half. Um, that being said, this is football. We had more chances than they did, but also Ramos wastes 2 chances and they score theirs. I wonder what that game looks like. Time will tell. We are playing though, attacking, attractive football. We are
Yeah.
creating. A lot of times in the past few years, I felt like our strikers was even hard to tell if they were bad. Same with Santi for a lot of that time. He just wasn't getting service, so it's hard to judge.
Yeah.
Now we're creating, and how refreshing is
I
that?
thought it is refreshing, and I thought I agree that that Amorim didn't really have a plan B and kept tried to keep on doing the same stuff. But it kind of I thought it was working. Chukwueze should probably have put away that chance. I thought Ramos could have scored at least two before halftime. But as soon as we took out Cisse, and Cisse didn't have a bad game at all, but it changed our fluidity because whenever
Mm-hmm.
Cisse and Ruben Loftus-Cheek, well, Cisse is inexperienced, first of all. That's no
Yeah.
discredit to him. He is only a teenager. But Ruben Loftus-Cheek is so robotic, and it kind of seems with those two players, they are within their sort of, as soon as we get the ball, they're in that 10 by 10-meter box, whereby they just stay in that all week. They don't have the footballing IQ to be able to be a bit more fluid. While when Salamakers and Rabiot came into those attacking positions, you saw a lot bit more overlapping. They They move together, more of a unit, closer together. It's almost like center mids should do. They stayed within
Yeah.
each other's vicinity. They moved over and created a bit more of an overload on one side, which you could see led to a bit more open chances and a bit more fluid chances, I would say. So we'll see. We'll talk about it in our analytics pod, if you want to call it that, probably on Monday or early next week. Who should start against Juventus? I don't think that duo will hack it against Juventus. So I'm sure I'm actually pretty positive we'll see Selemakers and Rabiot both starting that game at least. Seemed a bit more fluid, but it is
I.
attacking football from the get go,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a lot more fun to watch. We don't get this Allegri ball or Conceição and Fonseca, where it was sort of mindless attacking, where we tried to counter. We gave the ball to a Rabiot, gave the ball to a Rabiot last season, but a Leao or Pulisic, and just thought, you know what, you guys do the rest.
Yeah,
And
no
yeah,
organization, just sort of
yeah,
vibes.
yeah,
I
just
definitely
vibes.
agree. I definitely agree that you can expect Rabiot to start over Loftus-Cheek. I agree and hope because again, Loftus for me just not enough. I'm curious. I don't know. I didn't even consider. You think Salemaker starts over Cisse?
I That's a question because Salamakers would be the obvious choice to play instead of Chukwueze. And again, we said this against Torino, against a better attacking side. Will Chukwueze hold up defensively? I don't think so. While I don't think he was necessarily very shaky, it is an unnatural position for him to be a defensive player whenever we don't have the ball. Um, will I don't know if Gabia will start instead of De Winter, but I thought a lot of the chances we conceded was actually down to De Winter getting
Mm-hmm.
manhandled by, I think it was, it's Adams who was the bigger of the two strikers, right? He was sort of manhandled by him. He's not a big player. I think Gabia would be able to control a bigger player. He's got better man marking. He can read the game better as a central defender. Gila,
Yeah.
I thought was very good today, but having Gila and Chukwueze, I don't think even if it's not against Yildiz, it's against a better attacking and better experienced squad of Juventus. I don't think that'll hack it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm very curious. I think there's some big decisions for him to come. I could see how it would make sense. Although it's always what sort of message you send to your team when you say it seems like Chukwueze is the starter and then Juve comes around town and you put Salamakers.
Yeah, true.
I'm always like, do you even if that's not what you tell the players, is there sort of a message of like, hey, we're dropping back, which is not what sort of Ruben
Yeah,
uh, Amorim wants,
I
but
think the counter argument to that is that Selemakers, even though Belgium came, they went to the quarterfinals, so he wasn't massively late back to Milanello and to the squad. I think Amorim has been playing him in a more attacking position just to see what he's got, and it works just because Chukwueze has done enough to keep Selemakers coming on in an attacking position. While Selemakers, can do a job at right wing back. He's been doing it for years. So that's the only thing is that we've kept him not starting at right wing back because Chukwueze has been there longer over summer, well the whole summer because Nigeria didn't make the World Cup, and he's been able to experiment against weaker oppositions like Torino, like Venezia. I think that's the only argument that Selemakers can slot in as right wing back
yeah,
straight
yeah.
away.
And I
You
was
know
hoping
what he's got.
today to see him instead of Bartezag. Not that Bartezag was doing badly, but it was still 0-0. And I think we can provide a little bit more push, even though, Bartezag had a wonderful cross to Ramos that he couldn't make use of. So, nothing against him. I do like his new haircut. He looks like evil Bartezagi. He's got the little fuckboy
Yeah.
look. Let's catch up with the chat. PBS, huge win, agreed. Zion Train, good win. I think our defense was solid. Bartezagi Chukwueze did well to cover the back post on numerous occasions that would have led to a goal last season. Poor finishing for the team, yes. Top of the table from Nishan, of course, for one night. Stop the count, we will take it. And then Zion again. Cisse and Ruben Loftus-Cheek definitely won't start against Juve. I don't know about definitely for Cisse, to be honest. I still
Do you think
think,
he's done enough to? I mean, again, it's not like we're saying he's been so poor that he should be out of it. But has he?
Mm-hmm.
And he scored against Torino, but I think today he could have. He just seemed a bit off, which is
Yeah, today
grand,
was
which is
missing, and look, we said it also, me and you, in the podcast. It's gonna happen. He's a kid. Is his second star. I'm just not sure what the like if the alternative is Salemakers, more proven player, but I think he's really looking for that spark. Now Pulisic was on the bench today. Was very likely not to be featured throughout. We'll see. We don't know his conditions exactly. We'll see. Obviously, if he's available, he starts over Cisse all day long. If he's not available, I'm not so sure. I definitely believe you and Zion that it's a possibility that Salemaker starts ahead of him. But I'm not so sold. I'm much more sold on the idea that Rabiot, unless unhealthy, will start over Ruben Loftus-Cheek. And then, of course, we'll see what the Mercato brings. By the time we play Juve, we're likely to have another forward. Leao just went for 45 mil plus the salary that frees up. Now, will that forward probably start against Juve? Probably not, but we need to see what brings. And Jerry has snuck up some interesting cards on us this summer. So let's see. A lot of money have come in. We spent a lot of money before even the Leao money came in. So now that the Leao money is in, it could get interesting. We will see. A couple interesting things. Well, one is an interesting stat. The other one I wanted to connect to what you were saying. Amorim is the first Milan manager since 2014 to win his first two matches in charge. That's over a decade, almost a decade and a half. That's wild. Now
that is
Torino and
wild.
Venezia, not the hardest, but as we all know, as Rossoneri will know very well, those are usually the trap ones for us. So very good start. Obviously, we have Juve and Lazio next. We'll see how that goes. And of course, the big headlines are for Ramos and all that. But you did mention Gila. It's such a breath of fresh air. He's so good defensively and so comfortable with the ball and pushing forward. Um, we've seen Pavlovic. He's done it actually this game a fair amount of just the Pavlovic intense running
Yeah,
forward.
just
Must be terrifying
forwards.
for a defender. But I don't, maybe I'm biased. I don't know what you think, but I'm loving what I've seen from Gila. I
Yeah,
hope he always seems to be very tired at the end or a little bit crampy or injuries. I hope he can get rid of that as the season goes through, because I think, especially defensively, our seasons will sort of live and die through him because he's a step above everyone we've had.
I'm sold already. I thought he looked comfortable on the ball. He was able to shake off the pressure from the strikers quite easily. Whether that's quite literally shielding the ball with his, because he's quite a large man. He might not be the tallest, but he's pretty muscular. We love that. We love muscular men. And
Big fan.
was able to turn the striker, and also make the right pass, whether that's changing the side completely, changing the sort of a long ball to the other side or just a short pass. Decision making when you're in the back three like that is very key. It's something we don't see from a De Winter. It's something we
Yeah,
don't see from Tomori, who's obviously on the transfer block. Pavlovic, he does it more by just when he sees a gap, he'll take it. We saw Gila sometimes make the run, but again, it was a bit conservative sometimes in order to read the game, slow the game down, whether not have to mindlessly run up in a straight line like Pavlovic does. But a breath of fresh air certainly compared to our other centre backs we've had throughout the years. Since Kier was pretty solid in that regards. Tomori
yeah,
was
but
never Scudetto season. He was good on the ball. Kalulu
yeah.
sometimes. Romagnoli, he
Probably
was
Kalulu
just
is the closest match, but
defensively good.
Kalulu is very young with us.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, certainly very happy that we bought him for. I want to say cheap. 30 million is never cheap, especially with a
True.
player that's in a team that wants to sell or should have to sell, and a player that wanted to leave as soon as he heard that we were interested because he wants
Yeah.
some European football, and it's probably it is a step up in his career, but good, I should say, scouting and a good fit for Amarim.
No, fully agreed. Because we're talking about who should start up top. in the back against Juve, Gila and Pavlovic are set.
Yeah.
Do you keep going if you're Amorim with De Winter, or do you give Gabbia that spot?
I would prefer Gapia. I think he's a lot better central center back in a back three like that. We'll not I don't think we'll be as much on the transition where you need the pace, because I think De Winter, perhaps when it comes to quite literally just sprinting, is quicker than Gabia, but De Winter just doesn't
Absolutely.
give me that vocal center back vibe, especially central center back, a leader in the back that can, because while Pavlovic seems like an absolute menace, he doesn't give that leader vibe. Hila's just come in, and I just didn't think Gabia is better defensively. I think Gabia is even better than most things than De Winter, whether that's even range of passing, heading, just general defending, man marking, gives a bit more confidence
Yeah,
for
I trust Gabbia a lot more.
for the
Thank you.
future.
I think a lot of maybe I'm getting influenced by Twitter, and Twitter is not a real place. I see a lot of people, swearing by the Winter, and I think in an ideal world, by the time the transfer window shuts, we have a starting. We buy a starting middle center back. The Winter can be Gila's sub. Gabbia can be the sub for the center back in the middle. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we press a lot more. We're a lot more forward, and as you said, the Winter is a lot more agile and pacey than Gabbia. But for everything else, I'm trusting Matteo Gabbia with that sort of stuff. Um, so, uh, yeah, I thought it was interesting to see. Um, Anything else we want to talk about? We're going for 20 minutes, so we can wrap up. Ramos, of course, we mentioned. Uh,
One thing,
Wasteful, too wasteful, but man, I was glad to see that goal come in because I could see the headlines, sort
yeah,
of the Kolumani treatment that he got last week, and it would have been deserved. By the way, look, he should have had one or two goals way earlier than that, um, and to me, it's not a coincidence that he misses the ones where he has a little bit of time to think, especially the one-on-one. And that one is just off to the side. All he has time for is to just take it across goal. Little less time to think, and it's a little easier.
yeah,
But huge for his confidence, I
man,
think.
man, that the narrative would have been so different. It would have been the pressure of his price tag. I was shouting at the TV saying 74 million, and I think our friend of the podcast tweeted, Martino Puccio, saying like, for 74 million you score those, or score at least the proper
Yeah,
101.
yeah, no way, no,
Just simple as, and you
yeah,
can say, well, we overpaid because it's PSG, and he's still relatively young, but he should score those. And then you can argue that it was a 74 million euro finish that he scored on, right? And it was a decisive point of the game. I shouldn't say it was a complete like out of nowhere kind of goal, but you slot those kind of goals you slot away as for that price tag, which is very nice to see because we haven't had a proper number nine since I know Giroud would have scored that, Ibra would maybe have scored that, but since I guess Ibra back in 2012, that would have been the only chance, the only player that would have been able to be able to slot those away. So the narrative would have been so different, and I think he should have scored those previous goals, previous chances as well.
yeah,
Thank
at
God
least one
we
of
won.
those.
We won with 2-0, and it wasn't a 92nd minute winner. Because even then, the press would have been on him even more than they probably already will be tonight, saying that he should have scored.
Yeah, and it's sliding
Or
door moments. It works out for him and for Amorim. Same thing against Torino. Zion says, apart from the Torino goal, Cisse has been poor. He's not starting. I would be very surprised if he starts. He could very well not start. I would disagree that he was poor. It
yeah, I would
wasn't
agree.
anything
I disagree as
specifically
well.
good today. I thought it was good against Torino before the goal. Nishon, where was your little Belgian boy tonight? Didn't get featured. Probably would have if maybe Ramos does score those early goals.
Yeah,
Curious not to see him. Probably doesn't want to throw him into the Lions then, but soon enough he will have to. I would be very surprised if he gets 0 minutes between Juve and Lazio, and those are bigger games. Do you expect him to feature more heavily against those two teams? I mean, he's definitely not starting against Juve, but you
yeah.
would expect him to do something.
Yeah, I think as soon as if we go down, we still haven't gone down yet. He is more of an attacking player. Bringing Selemakers on, you've got that ability to be able to move him to a Chukwueze position or right wing back position in case you need to defend a bit better. I think Moreira will feature just because against better opposition, attack is the best defense. Sometimes you can't be doing what we often saw with Allegri, that he just sits back, and Moreira would be a lot better to be able to keep some pressure and keep someone like Ramos, our only number 9, our only proper or proper striker or proper man up front. You need to give him some service, or at least some dummy runs, and um, however you shape the team with off the ball against better opposition, you still need pacey slash counter attacking players, and I think Moreira would be fantastic, even to hold up the ball in order for the rest of the team to catch up.
Yeah. And he's a pretty decent passer from what I've seen.
Mm.
An interesting thought from friend of the show, Martino Pucci, on Twitter. Gonzalo Ramos has equaled the total number of goals scored from a striker from us last season. Of course, not counting Rafa and Pulisic's proper striker, because Fulkrug and Santi both combined had one league goal. Ramos is already
Christ.
getting there. Yes, this is what I
Like
mean. Look, Allegri has a ton of faults, but oof, that's
and
rough.
it's one of those, we were caught up in the moment last season when we had that unbeaten run of 20 odd games, and we were holding up at the top of the table. We were leading it just around January. But if you think back how dire it was, now that you can,
Terrible.
it's easy to retrospectively complain. And I was on the Allegri train at least up until, let's say, February, because we were winning games. We found ways to win it. But if you look back at it, it was absolutely dire.
Yeah,
And
truly
it's
disgusting.
a fresh of breath air.
Agreed. I would swap some of those words around, but I agreed.
Oh, air of
Anything
fresh the breath.
closer? I would swap still a few words.
Oh, you would, yeah. Maybe it's a demon
Uh,
talking. I don't know.
anything else to take away from this game? Honestly, Venezia.
One thing we
You
didn't
feel
touch, even before the game started, I thought it was quite a nice tribute to Il Capitano, to
yeah.
Baresi. I shouldn't say we had short time to do it. I thought it was enough, because sometimes those can be dragged on. Now it's arguably the biggest legend in our club. You can argue him or Maldini, or go back to Gunnar Nordahl. But I thought it was just enough, and it was touching, and he's sorely missed.
Yeah, no, I thought they did that well too, and needed. It was good to see. I saw Masaru kiss his jersey actually after the Ramos goal.
Yeah,
No, I thought you're right. They toed the line well. It was, yeah, not too long, but very, very warranted.
yeah.
And of course, shout out to Baresi. Our Baresi, our lucky um, insect that landed on my hand on the
The
podcast. What's that called?
ladybug, Franco the
Ladybug.
ladybug.
But
Yes.
Franco the ladybug turns out to be it. I'll try to see if I can fetch her again. Um, beyond that, I think we sort of covered everything. Big Juve game. I cannot promise our viewers the Alexa, but I'll drop her a text to see if she will join either the live reaction or the podcast. We usually are able to make it work. She's always very positive on Juve,
I
so I'm curious to
think
see.
last season we didn't have her for both games, did we? We only had her for the first game the first game between us, where Pulisic missed a penalty and it ended up being 1-1, right? So
Yeah,
I don't I love to see one of us win, either it's Juventus
I was
or
I
Milan,
was
for the
just
viewers.
yeah
We
I was
get
just
the
about to
the
say the
Div
same because
Alexa
she's always
fandom come in, or we get absolute we get to absolutely berate her about Juventus.
I was a little worried about which choice of verbs you're going
I've
there.
got a wide vocabulary.
he's
English is my
he
fourth language, but we
he
move
goes
on.
deep in the bag with the vocabulary. Um, no, and I'm excited to face Juve. Honestly, for the content, I hope someone wins. It feels like we've been drawing for way too long. But I was telling you this the other day. We haven't beaten them in a long time. It would nice to get, even
We had
when
a
it's,
good streak, and then
yeah, and then it just seems. I mean, I off the top of my head, I don't remember, but it seems like a lot of draws. We're due a good win. Nevertheless, now we get to enjoy the rest of the weekend with a win. We can watch the other Serie A games with a light heart. We'll leave it there. Finally, Siva, Forza Milan to you too. Thank you for everyone watching. If you're watching, obviously like, subscribe. We'll be here after every game with the podcast a few days after, live reactions right after. But until then, as always, Forza Milan.
Forza Milan.